Imagine waking up one day and realizing the person sleeping right next to you is acting like a complete stranger. That is exactly the nightmare Maria Connor is facing right now on the cobbles. Gary Windass has been incredibly shady lately. The frantic whispering on the phone, the sudden guilt trip presence, and the unexplained absences at all hours of the night. Naturally, Maria's mind goes straight to the ultimate betrayal. She is convinced Gary is seeking intimacy elsewhere, and all signs are pointing directly to his ex, Sarah Platt. But what if the truth isn't about a forbidden romance? What if it is something infinitely darker? If you want to stay ahead of all the jaw-dropping drama, secrets, and scandals hitting the cobbles, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to CoronationST Update right now. We bring you the hottest, most trustworthy tea on your favorite characters, so you never miss a single twist. Let's dive right into the absolute mess Gary has created for himself. Maria has been playing detective, tracking his movements and analyzing every single word that comes out of his mouth. She thinks it is a matter of the heart, maybe some secret sensual history repeating itself with Sarah. Sarah has been acting incredibly jumpy too, which only throws more gasoline on Maria's raging fire of suspicion. Every time Gary leaves the room to take a hushed phone call, Maria pictures him planning secret meetups. But the reality is that Gary knows he is in deep shit, and it has absolutely nothing to do with cheating. Gary is drowning in a massive cover-up involving the tragic, mysterious death of Theo Silverton. This isn't just a simple misunderstanding. It is a full-blown crisis where severe accusations surfaced. The authorities are circling Weatherfield, and Gary is officially the primary person of interest in Theo's untimely demise. He hasn't been sneaking around for romance. He's been scrambling in the shadows to secure a rock-solid fake alibi. He is desperately trying to keep himself from trading his everyday clothes for a prison uniform. Every lie he tells Maria to cover his tracks about Theo just makes him look more and more like a cheating husband. It is a brilliant, twisted irony. He is actively destroying his own marriage just to save his freedom. Gary is pulling Sarah into this nightmare, begging for her help to solidify his alibi. This, of course, makes them look incredibly guilty to Maria, who is practically ready to explode. Imagine the sheer chaos when Maria inevitably confronts them. She is going to demand an admission of a torrid affair. But what happens if she accidentally uncovers a secret that could put her husband away for the rest of his life? Will Gary confess to the cheating accusation just to hide the fact that he is involved in someone's permanent end? But Gary and Maria are not the only ones spiraling out of control. The tension on the street is at an absolute boiling point, especially over with the Websters. Kevin and Carl have been at each other's throats for weeks, and the bad blood is finally spilling over. We are about to see an intense face-off that goes horrifyingly wrong. This isn't just a shouting match or a minor scuffle in the garage. Things escalate to a dangerous point of no return, resulting in a sudden, accidental blast from a very dangerous piece of hardware. One split second of blinding anger, one chaotic struggle, and suddenly a deafening noise echoes through the room, leaving a life hanging in the balance. The sheer panic that sets in after that terrifying accident is going to shake the Webster family to its very core. They are now thrust into a frantic nightmare. They have to cover their own tracks, deal with the profound trauma of what just happened, and dodge some incredibly serious legal trouble. The desperation to clean up the mess before the flashing blue lights arrive is going to push Kevin and Carl to do things they never thought they were capable of. Meanwhile, just down the street, Nick Tilsley is facing a completely different, yet equally devastating kind of heartbreak. We are going to witness an incredibly emotional breakdown from Nick as he grapples with his son's severe inner struggles. As a parent, watching your child go through an intensely dark time and feeling completely powerless to pull them back into the light is soul-crushing. Nick's son is dealing with overwhelming mental battles, and the fear of what might happen if he doesn't get the right help is tearing Nick apart. He is going to be pushed to his absolute breaking point, crying out for a lifeline. It is a deeply moving, grounded storyline that perfectly contrasts the high-stakes deception of Gary and the chaotic trauma of the Websters. Nick's raw desperation to save his son from his own mind will absolutely have you reaching for the tissues. Everything in Weatherfield is connecting through a massive, suffocating web of lies. The lengths these characters will go to protect the ones they love, or to simply protect themselves, is the running theme that binds all these events together. Trust is entirely out the window. Every single step these characters take right now feels like walking through a minefield. Gary's house of cards is swaying in the wind, threatening to collapse at any moment. The Websters are dealing with the horrific fallout of that accidental discharge, trying to keep their story straight while the investigators start knocking on doors and asking the hard questions. And Nick is just trying to keep his family breathing through one of the darkest chapters of their lives. The writers have laid down some incredible twists that no one is going to see coming. Just when you think you have figured out how Gary is going to escape the authorities, a new piece of evidence regarding Theo Silverton's passing will surface. Just when you think the Websters have successfully hidden what happened in that room, someone's guilt is going to start eating them alive. The psychological toll of keeping these massive secrets is going to break someone, and it is only a matter of time before the truth comes spilling out onto the cobbles.
Coronation Street is about to deliver one of the most explosive twists we have ever seen. And just when you think you have everything figured out, the writers are preparing to pull the rug right out from under us. Next week, Kit Green is gearing up for a deeply emotional milestone, completely unaware that the woman he is falling for might be tangled up in a deeply mysterious passing. We are talking secret meetings, hidden truths, and potentially a massive betrayal that could blow this whole street wide open as Sarah Platt and Gary Windass hide in the shadows. Before we dive into all this juicy drama, please do me a huge favour and hit that like button, subscribe to CoronationST Update, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest Cobbles tea. Kit Green is officially a man in love, and his upcoming storyline is set to be a massive emotional rollercoaster that will have us all on the edge of our seats. Next week, the dedicated detective decides it is finally time to lock things down with his girlfriend, Sarah Platt. He wants to prove his commitment, sweep her off her feet, and give her the fairy tale she truly deserves. But Kit is not rushing into this blindly. He knows that when you marry a woman with a family, you are marrying the family too. So, he sets out to get the all-important seal of approval from the two people who mean the most to Sarah, her children. It all starts in a quiet, heartfelt moment at the flat when Kit sits down with Sarah's daughter, Bethany. Kit lays all his cards on the table. He tells Bethany how much he cares for her mother, how he wants to provide a stable, loving environment, and how he plans to pop the big question. Bethany has been through the ringer over the years, dealing with her own fair share of heartbreak and trauma, but she has never really had an issue with Kit. In fact, seeing a reliable, steady man step into her mother's life is probably a breath of fresh air for her. The conversation is bound to be touching, showing a much softer side to the usually stoic detective. But the emotional stakes get even higher when Kit has a separate, private chat with Sarah's 10-year-old son, Harry. This is where things get truly incredibly sweet, but also dangerously heartbreaking. Harry opens up to Kit, admitting just how much he genuinely enjoys having him around the house. For a young boy who has seen a lot of instability, having a strong, dependable father figure means everything. Kit is deeply moved by this confession and reassures the youngster that the feeling is absolutely mutual. Kit is not just playing house, he is ready to step up and be the dad that Harry needs. After getting the green light from both of Sarah's kids, Kit pulls out the engagement ring he has secretly bought, waiting for the perfect moment to ask Sarah to be his wife. It sounds like the perfect romantic setup, right? Well, this is the Cobbles, and true happiness is always just a prelude to absolute chaos. While Kit is busy picking out rings and dreaming of a beautiful future, a massive stumbling block is looming right around the corner. and it comes in the shape of Sarah's ex-partner, Gary Windass. Sarah and Gary have been acting incredibly shady lately, whispering in corners, exchanging panicked looks, and keeping a very dark secret tightly under wraps. Their suspicious behaviour comes right in the aftermath of Theo Silverton's tragic end. Theo's untimely demise has sent shockwaves through the community, and the timing of Sarah and Gary's secret meetings is impossible to ignore. Here is the absolute kicker that makes this storyline a ticking time bomb. The person leading the investigation into Theo's passing is none other than Kit Green himself. Kit is tirelessly working to piece together the clues of this tragic event, totally oblivious to the fact that his future wife might be directly connected to the very case he is trying to solve. The irony is almost too painful to bear. Kit is out there interrogating suspects and looking for the truth, while the woman he wants to spend the rest of his life with is actively hiding crucial information from him. But the drama does not stop there, because you can never have a secret on Coronation Street without collateral damage. Gary's wife, Maria, is starting to notice the strange behaviour between her husband and Sarah. However, Maria's mind goes to a completely different place. She is rapidly becoming convinced that Gary and Sarah are sneaking around for some hidden intimacy. Maria's paranoia is skyrocketing, and she is terrified that Gary is rekindling an old romance. The dynamic is getting impossibly messy. Maria thinks she is dealing with a cheating husband, but the reality might be infinitely worse. If Maria starts digging around trying to expose a supposed romantic affair, she might accidentally uncover a massive cover-up related to a fatal incident. Imagine the sheer panic Sarah and Gary must be feeling right now. They are trapped between a rock and a hard place. If they tell the truth about what really happened to Theo, they could face severe consequences and absolute ruin. But if they keep lying, they risk destroying their current relationships. For Sarah, the stakes are unimaginable. If Kit finds out that she has been lying to him, and not just about anything, but about a major police investigation that he is heading up, it would destroy him. Kit prides himself on his integrity and his ability to read people. Discovering that his fiancée has been playing him for a fool would shatter his world. Jacob Roberts, the incredibly talented actor who brings Kit to life, recently spoke out about this gripping storyline, and his words have left fans buzzing with theories. When asked if Kit and Sarah's relationship is built to last, Jacob laughed and pointed out the harsh reality of the soap world. He mentioned that no relationship ever really goes the distance without some major hurdles. He praised the partnership between the two characters, calling them a great duo, but he dropped a massive hint that there are definitely some cracks coming up in the future. He could not reveal exactly what those cracks are, but reading between the lines, it is obvious that the fallout from the Theo Silverton case is going to hit them like a freight train. Let us take a deeper dive into the psychology behind all of this, because the layers to this story are absolutely fascinating. Sarah Platt has a long, documented history of being drawn to complicated men. She has been through so much turmoil, from her early days as a teenage mother to her disastrous relationships with bad boys and schemers. Kit was supposed to be her safe harbour. He is a man of the law, a protector, someone who plays by the rules. By aligning herself with Gary again, even just to hide a secret, she is slipping back into her old, dangerous habits. Gary Windass has always had a dark cloud following him. His past is littered with shadowy circumstances, questionable decisions, and situations that always seem to end in disaster for the people around him. The fact that Sarah is allowing herself to be pulled back into Gary's orbit is a massive red flag. What exactly are they hiding about Theo's tragic end? The speculation is running wild. Did Gary have something to do with it, and Sarah is providing an alibi? Did Sarah witness something she was not supposed to see, and Gary is trying to protect her from retaliation? Or is there a completely different third party involved, and Sarah and Gary are covering up the truth to protect someone else they care about? Whatever the reality is, The cover-up is almost always worse than the crime in these situations. Every day that Sarah looks into Kit's eyes and accepts his love while holding on to this dark truth, the betrayal deepens. Think about the devastating impact this will have on young Harry. The boy has just told Kit how much he loves having him as a father figure. Harry is finally feeling secure. If Kit's proposal blows up in a spectacular fashion because he uncovers Sarah's lies, it won't just be Sarah who gets her heart broken. Harry will lose the stable male role model he has come to rely on. The collateral damage of Sarah's deceit will echo through her entire family. Bethany, who gave Kit her blessing, will feel betrayed on her mother's behalf, but might also blame Sarah for throwing away a good man over Gary Windass of all people. We also have to talk about Kit's position at the police station. If accusations surface that the lead detective's partner is involved in the case he is investigating, Kit's entire career could be on the line. The higher-ups would immediately suspect a conflict of interest, or worse, they might think Kit was deliberately tampering with evidence to protect Sarah. Kit's reputation, his badge, and his livelihood are all tied to this one massive secret. He is walking straight into a minefield with a diamond ring in his pocket, and the tension is absolutely suffocating. As the episodes roll out next week, viewers should pay very close attention to the subtle cues. Watch how Sarah reacts when Kit brings up his work. Watch the panic in her eyes when he mentions any new leads on the Theo Silverton case. The guilt is going to start eating away at her. Sarah is not a hardened criminal. She wears her emotions on her sleeve. Keeping a secret of this magnitude requires a cold, calculated mindset that she simply does not possess. Gary might be used to living in the grey areas of morality, but Sarah is going to crack under the pressure. And let us not forget Maria's role in this impending explosion. Maria is a woman scorned by her own imagination at this point. She has been cheated on and lied to in the past, so her radar is highly sensitive, even if it is pointing in the slightly wrong direction. If Maria decides to take matters into her own hands and confront Sarah publicly, it could force the truth out in the worst possible way. Imagine a scenario where Maria corners Sarah in the rover's return, accusing her of seeking intimacy with Gary, screaming about betrayed friendships and broken vows. In a moment of sheer panic and desperation to clear her name of an affair, Sarah might just blurt out the real reason she and Gary have been sneaking around. And who might be standing right behind her when she drops that bombshell? Kit. The dramatic irony of this entire plot is brilliant. Kit is trying to secure a future, while Sarah is changed to an event from the recent past. The proposal itself is going to be a masterclass in suspense. Will Kit get down on one knee in a beautifully romantic setting, pouring his heart out, only for Sarah to break down in tears of guilt instead of tears of joy? Will she accept the ring, sliding that diamond onto her finger, knowing that her secret could rip them apart at any second? The visual of a shiny new engagement ring resting on hands that are metaphorically stained with a dark cover-up is exactly the kind of high-stakes drama that keeps us completely addicted to this show. Soap operas thrive on these moments of impending doom. We, as the audience, have all the puzzle pieces. We know about the ring, we know about the secret, we know about the investigation, and we know about Maria's suspicions. We are just sitting here waiting for the inevitable collision. Jacob Roberts hinted at those cracks, and those cracks are going to turn into a massive earthquake. How will Kit react when the truth finally comes to light? He is deeply in love, but he is also a man of justice. Can his love for Sarah override his duty to the law? Will he try to help her cover it up, compromising his own morals and becoming a corrupted cop in the process? Or will he slap the cuffs on the woman he just asked to marry him? The possibilities are endless, and every single one of them is dripping with heartbreak. This storyline forces us to ask some really tough questions about loyalty and love. What would you do if you were in Kit's shoes? If you found out the person you loved was involved in something so deeply unlawful, could you look past it? For Kit, it is not just a moral dilemma, it is a professional one. And for Sarah, it is a desperate fight for survival. She wants the fairy tale, she wants the happy family for Harry and Bethany, but her past choices are dragging her into the mud. Gary Windass, acting as the anchor pulling her down, is proving, once again, that he is a master at creating chaos. As we look ahead, the tension is going to reach a boiling point. The writers have brilliantly intertwined a touching domestic romance with a gritty, high-stakes mystery. The contrast between Kit having sweet, fatherly chats with little Harry and then turning around to investigate a tragic demise showcases the incredible range of this show. We are in for some phenomenal performances from the cast. The sheer panic, the romantic longing, the jealous rage from Maria, and the eventual heartbreaking realization from Kit are going to make for unforgettable television. Make sure you are tuning in every single weeknight because you will not want to miss a single second of this absolute powder keg of a storyline. The cobbles are heating up, and the fallout is guaranteed to change these characters' lives forever. I want to know exactly what you guys think is going to happen next. Drop your wildest theories in the comments down below. Do you think Sarah will confess before Kit proposes, or do you think she will take this dark secret all the way to the altar? Let's get a massive discussion going. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe to CoronationST update, and keep your eyes peeled for our next deep dive into the most explosive drama on television. See you next time.